It's a true honor to be here. It's especially gracious to see young people like you all doing this wonderful work. This is not a story we typically hear about Africa. Those of you who watch Chindi Amada Adichie in the latest talk that she made somewhere in England said that we needed to increase the diversity of stories about Africa to bring out the good stories as well as the bad stories. This is a fabulously good story for me when I see young people doing very good work and not just having fun, but also doing very gracious social work. I was particularly impressed by the charity you chose, Comfort, which it's concentrated on helping African women get educated. I have a lot of education initiatives that are dear to my heart, and as most of the older Africans here, we all support many kids back in our African countries. But me especially, in my role as a job, I am also in charge of a program called the Faculty for the Future program, where we sponsor PhDs and postdocs from the developing world to come into advanced institutions here in the United States to get their PhDs and go back to their home countries to be teachers. So the story about Comfort touches me personally because I see how teachers can make a difference in leadership in our continent. So the theme that you have chosen, Africa Rising, is most appropriate. Last week, a week before, I was in Cape Town at a conference on Africa Week, and the auditorium was full to the brims. All the people that we had 6 years ago when I first went to this conference on oil, it was just a small little companies who wondered where Africa was. This time, you could barely get a seat in the main auditorium. And all countries from South Sudan. And I'm glad and honored that you have selected me for this one. Now, for me personally, as a professional to young professionals coming up, maybe the question to ask me is, what makes me get up every day? For those of you, what do you do in the future? I say 3 things. Number 1, have a passion for what you do and get something you enjoy. If you don't have a job where you enjoy what you're doing, quit that job and find something else. You must enjoy what you're doing and have a passion to do it. Number 2, you must be the owner of the knowledge in your group. Whatever it is you are doing, you must be the expert. You have to be a contributor to whatever it is you are doing. That is the only way your work will be recognized. And thirdly, and my wife gives me a hard time about this all the time, you execute the same way each time, all the time, consistently, paying attention to all the detail. Now, you say, how does that resonate with what I'm doing today? I look at myself and I say, I've been very lucky. I grew up in Ghana. I went to school in Ghana, so most of my gratefulness is due to Ghana. But I also came to America on scholarship by the federal government of Nigeria. Came to grad school here. I joined Someje after that. And Someje has given me the opportunity to do all kinds of wonderful things. Some of the passion that I'm talking about derive from the people I get to work with in Someje. Some of them are in this room. Many of them are in this room. Manuel from Tunde Olatona and Co. In this room, the company allows you to work well, enjoy what you're doing, but still pay attention to your social consciousness. And that's why I say find something to do and do it very well. Second group of people that I say give me the passion to do what I'm doing are my friends. A good number of people on our table there and sprinkled over there are friends that we argue every day over mountains of pounded yam and therefore about the issues that are bothering our country. I'm Nigerian, as you can tell, and it never ceases. We never find 5 of us gathered together somewhere where we are not arguing about something to improve somewhere in Africa. So find those friends of yours where you have common cause on the issues that you are passionate about, and you would definitely make a difference that you're already making these young guys in America. So finally, and again, thank you for the honor. My family is here with me, my wife Anne. I have 3 kids, they are in school today. My son is here with me one day. I'm hoping that I'll be able to get him to drag him along to Africa so we can all join the passion that you all have and try to make a difference in Africa. Thank you very much for the honor, and I'm welcome to you.
The AfriPRO Houston Merit Award recipient has an incredible journey thus far. Culturally rooted from Uganda, he holds a doctorate in cross-cultural communications and history from UCLA in California. He is a former Ford Foundation Fellow and has received numerous honors, including the United Nations Peacekeeping Special Achievement Award in International Journalism. Other awards include VOA's Best Journalist Award and Kigezi College Butebear's first ever highest achievement award in international human communications.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'd like to say that there must be very many people out there who are probably more deserving than I. But having said that, I accept your honor. I accept your gesture. And I really say this from the deepest better part of the bottom of my Kabale heart and soul. Kabale happens to be a very small town where I was born, in southwestern Uganda. And when I started especially hosting Straight Talk Africa, I recall telling myself that if you are to consider yourself a success, you first and foremost must succeed at remaining authentically Shaka Sali, that Kabale kid, the little kid that is inside me. And I'm glad to say that after 11 years of hosting the program, I think I have sort of gotten there. I have to say that I can't say much because I really wasn't aware that I was supposed to make some remarks. I work for an organization that has a policy which says your speech has to be vetted. They have to look at it before they give you the green light. So I don't think I would want to be in violation of the Voice of America policy. All I can say, frankly, is that I am profoundly honored, exceedingly, humbled to be able to be chosen by AfriPRO Network Houston. And I can assure you that the challenges that you have put in my place, I will try and figure out how to turn them into opportunities so that I can continue to be an advocate of social justice for all of us. The state of the continent is not very good, but at the end of the day, it is going to be up to you, up to all of us, to figure out a way of asserting our rights. Because I think what has happened is that most people who live in African countries, rather than asserting their rights, their inalienable rights, or birthrights, and in some cases, in fact, constitutional rights, so that you actually have the rights of a citizen. A citizen meaning you owe your allegiance to the state, and therefore, you have rights, not privileges. But we tend to behave, or we are made to behave as if we are subjects. Yes, it is true, we used to be subjects of the colonial empire. You could have been under the Lusophonic, the Portuguese, Francophone, Paris, and Anglophone. We were subjects. But I don't think that there is much that has significantly really changed in the mindset, in the manner in which an average citizen in an African country carries themselves. They still behave as if they are subjects, and therefore they owe their allegiance to an individual authority, probably a president who happens to be a dictator, or a king, or something of that sort. But the fact of the matter is, we need to know that presidents, ministers, are our servants, and we must hold them accountable. But you can only do that if you are exposed. You can only do that if you are well educated, and especially not the kind of education of simply reading books and passing exams, but the sort of education, frankly, that makes you socially and politically conscious, knowing that you have a rights and therefore you have a responsibility. Those are things that we need to do rather than simply focusing on presidents being dictators and what have you. They are going to do their thing. We should figure out how to do our thing. And that is why, for me, I have been very lucky in the sense that I have a platform that allows me at least to be an advocate of social justice. And so, very briefly, if you want to succeed at whatever you do, I can only say that you have to identify what you want, you have to be disciplined, you have to be ready to work very hard, you have to be very passionate about it, and you have to be able to think about being the best that you can be. Being number 2 is as good as being last. You have to think in terms of being number 1. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that those who are very young in this audience here, if you want to do something about journalism, please feel free to come and stand on my shoulders so that you can see a little bit further than I. Because me too, I happen to be a beneficiary of those who came before me. So I guess I can't go on. Of course, I've already told you that I'm not supposed to speak. So in that sense, frankly, I will accept the award in the name of the audience, without whom, in fact, I wouldn't be here with you tonight. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Young human activist, civil rights campaigner, Council of the World Future Counselor, daughter of the late Chief Moshood Abiola, President-elect of Nigeria, who died in prison in 1998.
Thank you very much. I want to thank AfriPRO. I was really honored to get the letter. It was emailed to my inbox. I don't even know how AfriPRO's organizers got my email address. And right away, I wrote to my boss to ask for the time away. And he gets a lot of files. I work for the governor of Ogun State, and everybody in the cabinet has to write in files. We send memos, something called memos, and he has to minute on it. And I was waiting for the file to come back to say that I could go. I didn't get the file before I got on the plane, but I did send him a text. I did send him a text and I said, you know, because when we go into cabinet and we have to get something passed in cabinet, we call it prayers. So you list what you need. You say, the roads that we want to build here, we'll do this and that. And my prayers, and then you start listing your prayers. My prayers is that we will build this road 6 kilometers, whatever, and then the council has to approve your prayers, or they need to discuss it. So in my text, I wrote, my prayer is that you have approved this memo that was sent to you. The theme Africa Rising, I think, is an excellent theme. All the data we see actually is saying that Africa can expect to be one of the fastest growing areas in the world in the next decade. And for all of us, and I know some of you were born in the 80s, I was born in the 70s, but in the 80s, Africa went through a really rough period. And so to see this rising in Africa is so wonderful and exciting. And the truth is, the only thing that will have Africa rising in the way that we want Africa to rise is a structural transformation of the African economy. And that takes something other than just economic activity. Economic activity can just be foreign companies doing what, exploiting resources. It's not really, it may not be the majority of people in Africa gainfully employed. And that's where we really want to get to. And all of you in the diaspora, as well as our friends, when I got on the plane after sending my text, I got a Guardian newspaper, which is not the UK Guardian, but the Nigerian Guardian for yesterday, December 2nd. And it says, Nigerians in diaspora remit $10 billion home. Apparently, we are among the highest, the proportion of money we're sending home makes us in the top of people in the diaspora sending money to their home countries. And this is wonderful. It's the truth not just for Nigeria, but across the continent. Africans outside of Africa are sending resources back home to help their families, to help people in their communities. You know, I also now live in Ogun State, which is the state that neighbors Lagos, for those of you that are not from Nigeria. And I see how important it is. You know, with 70% of our people in Nigeria living with less than $2 a day, and 90%, actually 70% living with less than $1, and 90% living with less than $2. You can imagine what $10 billion coming in from people around the world, what a difference it makes in the lives of the people at home. We need to reawaken our own imagination and our own belief in ourselves and help ourselves understand that yes, we've made mistakes, but we faced incredible challenges and we can do this. In fact, we have to help ourselves understand that we must. And fundamental to all of that is that we must help ourselves understand that we must delay gratification. When we say, we have the opportunity as Africans to do something on our continent for which the future will thank us. Our own children, their children. And their children, and even our friends will be able to thank us. From all over the world, they will say, oh, let's go there. That's a very special place. There's such wonderful people. That's what we should be looking to do. And it's such a wonderful opportunity. I mean, how boring is it to live in a world that somebody else has already fashioned for you, when we can fashion Africa for the world? This is the opportunity that we have. So really, I hope, you know, as you are continuing with your life and doing the very important things I know you're doing, getting married, settling down, building your careers, you keep an eye and look for opportunities also to build your career in Africa, to contribute to Africa, and to hold the hands of your siblings there, so that together we make this journey. And we don't know where it will take us, but we remember the words of the South Africans. You know, after the old apartheid movement, the South Africans said, the elders that had been in that movement, they said, tell them, and of them they were talking of the future, they said, tell them that for their tomorrow we gave up our today. We must do that as well. It's a continuing struggle. Even South Africa is still in the midst of it. Let's stand up for Africa so that Africa rising means that all African people will shine. Thank you.